training, whether in implementation in the field, and so on. So I would like to say that parallelly, many organizations and university run together in parallel to implement this approach together. And this collaboration is really become good because, for example, I just would like to say that in education, if we develop curriculum, we need what happened in the field when they will implement this this competency for One Health for the students. And FAO with the government, for example, Ministry of Agriculture, they have their experience in the field, the activity using One Health approach, for example, in Bali, rabies eradication, for example, in avian flu, and so on. We have some activity run by our Ministry of Agriculture and other governments. And so we can link this together. They inform us with the experience, with the best practices that we can adopt to our curriculum, and then we teach the students, and then the student can practice in some areas using this approach. So sometimes like that we combine our how to increase more understanding of this One Health to not only to the people, to the government official or usual people, but also to in the education to the students, so they can, if they graduate, they can have quite good knowledge on, for example, like that. Meg, thank you.
Terima kasih, Pak Yoni. I actually have a question for you both now, because clearly my passion and my area of interest is in climate change. And I would very much like to hear you both talk about the relationship between climate change and pandemics such as COVID. So perhaps, Tony, if you'd like to start, and then we'll throw to Pak Yoni.
Thanks very much, Meg. Yes, this is a very important question, and it's not being discussed as much at the moment, and perhaps that's understandable because we're very much focused on trying to control the pandemic now that the virus has already spilled over from animals to people. And it's important for us to draw the lens back, and many of our participants today may have a good understanding of the way these new infections emerge, the way what's behind, if you like, the spillover of a new virus from animals to people. And some of this context, as you say, Meg, is very relevant to questions of climate change. So whether it's climate change itself, loss of forests, loss of biodiversity and habitat, urbanization, as Pak Yoni mentioned in his presentation as well. So these environmental and social changes are providing new opportunities for contact between animals and people, and indeed changes in the distribution and abundance of vectors. Pak Yoni made some very important points about this, whether it's the vectors of malaria or dengue fever. And so really understanding these ecological and social determinants of this spillover of viruses is the best way that we will be able to prevent pandemics in the future. So at the moment, it's understandable that we focus on controlling the pandemic, but as we build back, as we recover, it's really important that we try and prevent these spillover events in the future. And I think that was at the core of much of what Pak Yoni was talking about, and making clear that this is how it happens, and the challenge for us is to prevent this in future. But over to you, Pak Yoni. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Tony. Yeah, maybe I'd just like to tell you a story that I myself actually also, have this experience in this story. It's back in 1997. I think that we all know, especially you, Prof. Tony, that at the time the climate, the sea level temperature is quite very high, and there were several forest fire in Indonesia, 1970. 1997 to 1998 about that. Yeah, why I always remember, because actually in 1998 I planned to go to the western part of Indonesia, to Aceh, through Medan. Yeah, I don't know whether you know the city named Medan, and then Aceh. Yeah, we go by Garuda Indonesia Airways. So actually, I plan to go there on certain days, and then I go earlier with this plane number GA 152, and then so I went there and then go back already. 1 week after that, this plane crashed. This 152 crashed in Medan because at the time there is a very hazy, it's very smoky, the situation. Yeah, so the plane cannot. The pilot they maybe they didn't see, so they crashed the hill and so on. Yeah, so it's very tragic moments. Then I feel very really, because I plan to go with that plane. And this is not the story is not yet stopped. This is because the climate change make a very hot situation in Indonesia, especially Kalimantan and Sumatra. So at the time, fruits are not, the production of fruit is decreased, and but the Pteropus vampirus, flying fox, yeah, flying fox. Actually, they from Kalimantan, because there's no food for them in Kalimantan and Sumatra, they fly through to Malaysia, and then they pass through the Nipah village, and that what happened that we then hear about the Nipah disease. So this is actually an example that's very clear to relate the climate change and the situation of the environmental changes, make behavior changes of the animals, and then they try to go to find a new area. And at that area, they spread the disease to the pigs and also the human. And 100 people died in Malaysia at the time. But not only that, this disease become very important, because the economic loss of Malaysia at the time is very, very much, some billions of loss of economic change, because pigs industry, they related to other industry, feed and also drugs and many things. Yeah? So let's say at the time, one Malaysian who is now in Singapore, he studied about that, and he clarified that because of the climate changes, the hot situation in Kalimantan, Sumatra, very smoky, and no fruits available in those places, and then the animal go to the Malaysia and make trouble in there. So it means that now we are live in the borderless country. Yeah, our animals from Indonesia to Australia, of course, they can go there. Yeah? Flying fox, they have ability to fly 100 kilometers. Yeah. So this is one of the potential spreading virus spreading animals actually. So this is just an example, Meg, that yes, there is a very, very close relation between the changes in our environment to the adaptation of animal behavior and also, of course, the virus and so on, microorganism pathogens that make a disease. So why to overcome the forest fire problem is not just because of we don't want the smoke, but it is because of the behavior and disease, the animal behavior disease that can happen because of that smoke. So I think this just very short. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Pak Yoni. That was absolutely fascinating, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. And I'm going to wrap up in just a moment, but first I'll just give a very quick thanks, and I'm sure our audience also extends their thanks to our fantastic speakers for today, Professor Srihadi Agungpriyono and Professor Tony Capon. And I hope you've all taken as much away from this discussion as I have, and I sincerely hope that your fantastic work and this concept of one planet starts to, permeate much more quickly into the way that we think about addressing all of our sort of social and environmental issues that we're currently facing. Now, just before I do wrap up, though, we do have a brief recap video. Today is the last So I think we're about to see our recap video. Is that right?
Yes, Meg?
We might have Professor Nunung. Are you going to?
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me and see me? Hi, Tony. Thank you very much.
Yes, Prof. Nunung.
Prof. Yoni. It is my best friend. We have what we call it Teens Club. And Prof. Yoni is one of the member Teens Club in our university. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all those who have participated in this joint lecture series. It is, of course, our pleasure to share a few words with you all. I would especially like to thank to the world-class expert. We have actually 5 series of joint lecture series. This is not easy to meet all world expert in different field. Like today, we hear how important One Health in broader knowledge and in the broader aspect in our life. All experts actually come from Monash University and IPB University for very amazing lecture session. Without such enthusiasm and expertise in the various topic from everyone, it would not have been anywhere near as successfully. I see this joint lecture series as a very important stepping stone for all of us to have a further and more expansive collaboration activities, and wish to acknowledge and agree with both the views expressed by the Minister of Education and Culture, Mas Menteri or Bro Minister, which is really emphasized during the pandemic COVID-19, there is no limit of our creativity. And Vice Chancellor from Monash University, Professor Gardner AC, also emphasized that we show to the world by collaboration, we can reach the broader participant and then the broader audience without any border. We see now in Melbourne, I believe it's already around 6 o'clock. And then in Indonesia, it's 3 o'clock. So we can see. And in our lecture, we believe that not just only from both countries, participants follow our joint lecture series. We see from different countries, from Europe and then as well as from ASEAN countries. And our rector also, Professor Arif Satria, have made a good point that we should continue this collaboration. I believe Professor Srihadi and Professor Tony have a similar field, and both of you can explore more detail about zoonosis or other things that it is actually not my field. My field is economics. So I will also quite often come to Monash University since I'm as a senior fellow under Australia Indonesia Center. I'm a Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management. Again, thanks to all expert lecturers, participants, and for sure, I would name Selfie, the representative from Monash University, and then Leah, our young lecturer in Faculty of Economics and Management, and also from our Directorate Digital, who really support us that joint lecture series happen. Again, thanks to everyone for their participation and for the part they have played in this lecture series. I look forward to activities, and hopefully next year we not just only see each other on the screen, but we invite Tony to come to IPB, and as well as Pak Yoni come to Monash University. Again, it is very interesting. From digitalization in the first lecture, we see how important public policy should be delivered by the government. And then we move and jump to the third lecture concerning on supply chain, logistic, where it is a big issue during the pandemic. And then also about the urban design, which is, it is again really fit with what we are thinking about. And then last joint lecture series is about One Health. But I believe that this is not actually last lecture series, because we will still continue with a different and many joint lecture series on different topics. And thank you very much to all participants and lecturers. Good afternoon, and wish you luck, stay safe and healthy.
Thank you very much, Professor Nunung. And that was a very pleasant surprise. I think we weren't expecting you to be able to join us in the end. But I think there is still a desire to play the recap video, Selvi. Is that right? And if so, over to you.
Yes, our ICT will share the video.
think we weren't able to hear the sound then, but certainly we could see and get a bit of a sense of what an excellent lecture series this has been. So we're now a little bit over time, so I am going to wrap up right now. But I just wanted to say terima kasih to everyone who's been involved today. Thank you very much to our speakers, and please, everyone, stay safe in these unusual times.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Prof. Tony, nice to see you. Yeah.
Take care.
See you again next.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Look forward to see you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Prof. Nunung, terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Pak Adi, Pak Yoni. Saya masih di Jakarta. I'm still in Jakarta.
Oh, okay. Take care.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.